Hi everyone, welcome to version 0.3 of the mock graph data generator. I'm going to do a quick walkthrough. All right, so on the first page here, the design tab, this is an iframe of the arrows.app. And here I've put some instructions on how to specially notate the arrows.app properties for use in this auto mock data generation application. Okay, so we can see here, I've opened up all the requirements. So for nodes, you're going to have to add in an extra 2 properties that are required by the generator. And what I'm using for formatting are curly braces. So within a curly brace key, we need a count and a key identifier. The count is for specifying which of the generators you want to use for determining how many of a particular node you want created. So in this example here, this is using the int generator, which is just going to take an actual literal. So this will generate 10 of these nodes. And then the key identifier is just specifying which of the other properties you want to use as a unique identifier. So example, email or UUID is a good key property key. Okay, for relationships, all you really need is the count. So again, an int generator needs to be used for determining how many of these relationships you want to create. And there are 2 optional identifiers that can be used: assignment and filter. The assignment generator there's only 2 of currently available. So one is purely random, which means for each relationship that's outbound from the source node, it will attempt to, in a purely random assignment, it will take all the target nodes that are available, and every time it goes to create a relationship between the source node, it will randomly assign a target node. The exhaustive random function will randomly choose one of these nodes to connect to again, but once it's connected to one, it will stop connecting to it until all the other nodes have been connected before it randomly selects a new one. So basically, tries to make sure all of the target nodes are used within the pool of selection versus a purely random assignment. Now, the filter keyword, actually, I wouldn't use this yet. I haven't tested it in 0.3, but this was meant to filter out particular relationships. So, for example, if a target node had a specific name, specific email, or specific some other identifier, and you didn't want to connect with that, you would use the filter function. So go ahead and ignore filter for now. I'll update and probably in 0.4 actually have that working as expected. Okay, so these are the 2 requirements that need to be added to an arrows file. Okay, and here I'm going to show you. So here on the right hand is a list of all the functions that you can use. So here we're just going to select on the person node, and I'm going to create a name and choose a generator, a first name generator. So here, if you click on this button here, generate example output, you can see an example of what this function will generate. Just going to copy and paste this placeholder code into the property value of wherever I want that generator to function. Okay, so I'm going to modify this, going to make this first name and add in a last name and use the last name generator. Going to add in email, got an email generator. And next I will put in the key and the count requirements. So the key, I'll just key off of the email, and count, let's make, let's see, 100 people. That should be a good pool to start with. All right, now I'm going to move on to the superhero node. And here we're going to have a lot fewer superheroes than actual people, right? So I'll just make like, I don't know, 10. I'll copy and paste this to the count property. And then I'll give a name. I don't have a superhero name generator, so I'm just going to choose this word generator and just choose between 1 and 2. We can see here's an example of what it will output. Paste that in as well. Then I just need to specify that the name is the key. Okay, next for the relationship. So how many people, so for each person, how many superhero nodes should they be connected to? Here, we're just going to have one, so each person is only going to be one superhero. I think trying to pretend to be two different superheroes is probably more work than is already necessary. Okay, so moving on here, I'm going to go to city. I have a city name generator. Now, a lot of these generators that are currently in here, there's about a little more than a dozen. A lot of them currently come from the Faker library, so shout out to them for making such a great package. There are a couple custom ones and a few using some other libraries. As time progresses, I'm hoping to add in more libraries. If you have ideas or needs for other generators, definitely let me know, and I will gladly add those. Okay, so here I'm finished with the city, and for superhero appeared in a given city. Now we're imagining here that we're creating an application for the Daily Bugle to uncover people who are pretending, or people who are masking their identities. So here, just going to put in, they'll show up in one, maybe two cities. And again, I'm explicitly selecting the exhaustive random option. Now, if I recall correctly, the exhaustive random is the default, so you don't need to put in the assignment modifier unless you're choosing purely random. Okay, once you're done, click on this download export button from Arrows. By default, it starts with one of the picture options like PNG. Just select the JSON option and then click the download button. Next, go to the Generate tab and click the Browse File button, or drag and drop the JSON file that Arrows had exported. Once you do that, the app will automatically take that data and extract it and run the generators to create the mock data, and then take all that information, export the CSVs and the JSON file that data importer needs, zip it all up, and give that to you for download. Once you've downloaded that, go to the Data Importer tab, and then you can clear out everything if you have some existing information. Otherwise, just click Download Model with Data, and then select the zip file. That will load all the CSV files here on the left, and you can collapse that to see the data model that was created in Arrows. Okay, if you're not already connected to a database, you can go up to the top, and this is all within the data import tool. Put in the URI of the database instance, and then put in the username and password. Default username is Neo4j, and you should have the password from when you first created the database, either in Aura or through the desktop. Okay, so here we can see, so here I'm just showing you an empty database which I'm connecting to before I run import. So after you run the import, you will get a status dialog box. Hopefully this is all green. Hopefully you don't have any issues here. And we can see here that the sample data set that I'm using imported just fine. And here I can just review the number counts of everything. Okay, so I'm going to run this query again, and I can see I've got all the node types, 3 cities, a bunch of people, and a few superheroes. And if you zoom in here, I can actually double check to see if the relationships were also uploaded. So here I've got a superhero who the person is, hardly read that, Cobb. Alexandra Cobb is the superhero named Majores. Okay, so that is it. That is how the mock graph database generator app works. All right, hope it is useful for you. If you have any questions, post them in the questions. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next one.